Welcome back to another quick review. Today we are talking about Nier Automata. Now, to give a little context for this one, I've been trying to play Nier Automata for a long time. A game that, ever since getting more and more into JRPGs back in like 2019, um, I've been trying to get into this game or get around to this game. It didn't happen for one reason or another. And then in 2022, I finally bought it and I did not beat it. I bought it, waited a couple of months, tried it out, played for like 2 hours, and I just stopped. 2023, I tried it again, and I did not beat it. So, here we are, 2025, 3 years after buying it. I finally, this time I bought it. I bought it again. I bought it on PS5 this time rather than Steam. I played through the entirety of Nier Automata, and I think the hype for the most part, because this game has been very hyped up. I think the hype for the most part is warranted. Um, for me, this is like and I like to say my scores early so I can elaborate on them later. This is like a 9.5 for me, right? It's not a perfect 10 out of 10, but it's also not a 9. It's like a 9.5 for me. Whereas, like, for whatever reason with Nier, I like adore a lot of what it does, but it feels like there's something missing, right? And even like getting out like positives and negatives about certain things like, out of the way, like this game's difficulty is really weird. I can't explain it. It's like you kind of have to play for yourself. Nier's difficulty feels like it's all over the place at all times, and I think its combat could be very fun at times. There are some things that rough around the edges in regards to its combat, but for the most part its combat is relatively fun. It's just if not a bit repetitive. But the thing is that you get to a point where like a certain point, like maybe halfway through the game, where its difficulty is just like all over the place, and when it comes to like certain enemies and whatnot, Nier's difficulty is very weird. So be aware of that when going in. Um, I I probably I think and I think this game's story is really really good, right? I think I would probably like it more if I enjoyed the characters more. And I know that's not technically what it's trying to go for per se. I know the focus isn't necessarily the characters and their backstories and whatnot. And I think to be not backstories, but like just like that's not what I mean when I say that. Just, I know it's not like we're following 2B and 9S, and the entire thing has to do with them and whatnot, and they're the driving force. I understand that's not necessarily the case. I just think if, as I said, I like 2B and I like 9S, and I like A2, but like I just feel like if I just enjoyed some of these characters more, or there was a little bit more to them outside of plot, I would probably have enjoyed the game's story more. Otherwise, I think the game's story is phenomenal. I came out of this game's story depressed, especially after Route C, and I did ending D and E and whatnot. And I'm just like, it's because I completed this game like an hour ago. It's like it's like 11 a.m. in the morning when I beat this game. It's 11 a.m. in the morning. Yoko Taro, I do not need to be having a existential crisis. This is not the time for that. I think another thing for me that kind of made the story, or improved it upon some shortcomings or some issues that I personally have with some of the characters. I think one of the things that helps is the side characters and the world and the side quest. I think the world isn't like huge, but it's still pretty good. It's still a pretty good world, all things considered. But I think a lot of the side characters and their side quest um, help out. I think the specific point in which I was like, oh, this game is going to make me question a variety of things was there was a side quest that I did in Route A with two Yorha members who were in a relationship. And it was like it just the ending of it was just so depressing. And then I think another moment that kind of got me was last night I did the whole thing with Pascal, and that is like the most effed up choice I've ever had to make, because there's like three choices to it, and like each one is it just kind of sucks. Every choice sucks. It's just like it's a matter of hypotheticals. Every choice sucks. Um, and I think that's really what I loved about this game is that besides my issues and whatnot, it dives uh, into themes of existence, into themes of mortality, things that you know, with robots over here that you wouldn't think would have thoughts or feelings or emotions, or even androids in this case. They they do, and even besides a whole bunch of like the major plot twist or whatnot, it still sticks to that theme of mortality and in existence and grief in a sense, right? I just think that, especially because I've, I'm I'm not old by any means. I'm 18. I'm not old by any means, but this is a topic that's kind of been on my mind the last couple of months. It's been causing me a lot of anxiety. As a good therapy for it. That's been an entire thing, but it's been causing me an anxiety in my own existence. The fact that I'm going to have to die someday. That's just something that happens. To see like robots actively going through the same thing, making us realize that it happens. It's just a cycle. It has to happen, but it's like what you do during that time is what matters. And I think that's what I take away from Nier, and I think that's what makes this like a 9.5 out of 10 game for me. It's a game that, despite like I said, despite some of my issues with some execution things and whatnot, um, it's a game that I played at the right time in my life, right point, right place in my life, right. And I'm really glad I played it now because I'm not sure. I'm gonna be completely honest. If I hadn't played it now, I'm not sure if I would have ever gone back to it. But yeah, that's it for my Nier Automata quick review. I know it's been all over the place, but I have a lot of thoughts regarding this game, and not all of them are organized. But that's the point of quick review. Just my first initial thoughts in regards to a game. No script off the top of my head. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye.